Alright guys, so today's gonna be a little rant video that I got. And it's basically about how us as black men need to do better and our little feeling for being important in this world. The reason why I felt like making this video is because I feel like nowadays, today, especially as black men, like it's hard for us to feel important, like we actually have a place in this world because of things like racism. You know, you already heard all that, you know what I mean? And so like I really want to we're just gonna talk about like the way that I see that it's all going on is like the average young male youth, black male youth, you're always attacked from different angles. Nowadays you're attacked for your masculinity, your race, etc., etc. Like, you know what I mean? I can't really think of anything. You know, some people might say from a spiritual standpoint, due to religious deals, you know, such as like not, you know, saying traditional African religions being discouraged, things like that. You know what I mean? So the way that you're attacked from race, you know, we already know things like racism have always been there to teach you that black people are inferior, the inferior race. We've been conquered in many different levels. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm speaking on a general scale. You know, I'm not gonna disregard people, Africans who fought against colonialism, but for the general scale, we haven't really been successful. We're dealing with the Western education, so even what we learn, it isn't what is natural to us. It isn't always what is best for us. Right now, I'm a Dinka man. I'm an African male, and I'm speaking to my audience in English, a European language. This is probably some European clothing. I got a Sudanese necklace on. I got an American accent. I'm wearing American jeans. And using American products to record this video right now. That's American. That's American. And you know, as we're getting to do, we gotta support our businesses and all that stuff, you know. I've seen this thing, right? And it's basically, it's this one lady. I think her name on TikTok is like "Leave Black Girls Alone" or something like that. You know what I'm saying? One of those for a black woman and black woman only type of people. You get what I'm saying? I have no problem with people being for black women, but when you say black women only, it's kind of, the way I see it, is kind of like counterproductive. It's not really a benefit if you're choosing only on a gender basis. You get what I'm saying? And this is where, you know, that's that second thing I talked about, where black men are being attacked for their masculinity. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even just black men, it's really all over the world, all over Western societies. You know, we're being encouraged to be more, being encouraged to be more feminine, to embrace our feelings, our emotions, and all that stuff. I'm gonna say it's not the time for us to do that. It's the time for us to build something. I've seen black women criticize black men on TikTok, which I feel like is absolutely terrible, because most of the black men on TikTok are like 10 to 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? All of our situation that we're in right now, we had no control over. We're just born into this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that to cope or anything, but like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? I was born and my country I was born in 2004, Sudan was still going through the last years of the second Sudanese civil war. What fuck was I supposed to do, man? What was I supposed to do in that situation? Most people today, born like my area, 2004, right? I'm 18 right now, so I'm technically considered a black man. I just became of age. We were born in like the early 2000s. Slavery already happened. The war on drugs already happened. Colonization already happened. And it's still going on today because we got weak leaders up there. You know what I'm saying? We got weak leaders. We got people, either they don't know what they're doing, or they don't know what they're doing, or they don't care. That's really the conclusion that I've came to. You know what I'm saying? I'm a young black man working on trying to build something for the future. You know what I'm saying? Building something for my future and for the future of Africa, the future of the youth of Africa too, because we've genuinely been put in a disadvantaged situation. Growing up as a black man, all you see that's promoted to you is street life, being a gangster, being, you know, the Tyrone, you know what I'm saying, being the drug dealer, the scammer, all that's all being promoted, you know what I mean? So how exactly are we supposed to build something respectable, you know what I'm saying? Even in the conscious community, it's not much better. It's not that much better in the conscious community. Tons of misinformation out there. There's lots of misinformation. People lying on the culture. People lying on the community. Beef going on because people still want to be street. People still want to be street. You know what I'm saying? All this type of stuff. How exactly are we supposed to build something successful? You know what I'm saying? Something respectable. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm not saying we shouldn't do that. We definitely need to do that. That's exactly what we need. We need to build something that is respectable, something that people can look at and say, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, they did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know, especially in the country, we like, oh, we had ancient Egypt, we had this civilization, we had Mansa. That's all in the past, my guy. Europe literally went from the Dark Ages, whatever they call it, when everybody was getting sick, the plague. They went from the plague to what they have today. They went from the plague to the Eiffel Tower, the plague to London, the plague to Paris, the plague to one of the wealthiest nations in the world right now, as we speak. From the plague, the Dark Ages, to being a whole continent of world superpowers. A lot of Europe is just a bunch of superpowers. The way that they build their wealth may not be respectable, but they did it. They did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that to down my people or anything, but we got to keep it real with ourselves, man. We got to keep it real. When are we gonna stop complaining about racism and actually do something? When are we gonna stop complaining about racism and actually do something? You know, we need people who are gonna do something with their future. You know what I'm saying? We need people who are gonna do something. All people want to do is complain. All we want to do is point fingers. Like, we literally have gender wars. Us as the black community, we have gender wars on the internet designed to destroy each other in front of the faces of other people of different races. Black men talking about black women do this. Black women talking about black men do this. I'm not saying that to disregard any real problem, but you know what I mean? It's just crazy. And I feel like the thing in the black community too, and really just not even, I don't want to just say black community because like it sounds vague. You know what I'm saying? Black community usually refers to like African American. I'm South Sudanese, so I'm gonna just speak for black people in America, black people around the world too. But especially if you live in the Western world, we're always encouraged to be criminals. And this is where I want to get into talking about our ego. Our egos blind us, you know what I'm saying? Let me actually pull this book out, right? It's not a conscious book, no. It's a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now, there's a section in this book where he talks about human nature, ego, you know what I'm saying? It's in the beginning of the book, so you ain't even got to read to. It's like in the first 2 chapters, you know what I'm saying? But the average criminal walking around has a big ego. Black men are encouraged to be criminals. What I'm trying to say is that we got egos. We got an ego that we need to get rid of, because look at where we're at today. Most people, they feel like they have built something respectable once they caught a couple bodies on the street. Maybe if they're richer than their homie across the street. Although, you know, making money, building a business, you know what I'm saying? Like, making money in a respectable way, obviously that's good, you know what I'm saying? But what have you built that is respectable instead of, you know what I'm saying, being able to live more comfortable in the Western world, you know what I'm saying? A lot of African sports athletes I'll say sports athletes, people who made it and who came to America and were able to make something. A lot of the times, right, especially when they're first generation, right, fresh off the boat, come to America, they live here for a couple years. At first it's terrible, but then they start to build something. They go back to the country and give it back. They give back. They come back into the community. They try to help. Why aren't we helping them as people who grew up in the Western world? Why aren't we trying to help them? You know what I'm saying? We can help them. Let me not get my words twisted up, because I might not try not to contradict myself, but you know, you're always gonna contradict yourself anyway. So basically, bro, why aren't we helping them? You know what I'm saying? As people who grew up in America, people had, better childhoods than people who came from war-torn countries. You know what I'm saying? Why aren't we trying to help them? Why aren't we trying to embrace the culture? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to help through, just giving my opinion, giving my outlook. I want to get into political circles. I want to talk with people about the culture. I want to spread, all that stuff. You know what I mean? I want to learn the language. I used to speak the language. After I moved out with my dad, The point is, though, we have an advantage, we're in a good position, and that's what life is, too. A lot of life is good positioning and putting yourself in a good position. We're in a good position right now to be able to get back to our countries, but instead we want to invest in another man's nation. We want to live more comfortable in another person's nation. Why is that? Why can't we just build something and then be able to get back? That's what most people do who usually come directly from Africa. They come to a place where they have a better opportunity, they have better positioning, you know what I'm saying? They have opportunity, have a potential in this area. They excel, and then they get back to they get back to their country. They do something great. So why aren't we doing that as people who live in America? You know what I mean? It's a black man's struggle for importance. We're supposed to be the ones to build up the nations. I mean, obviously, we need the woman too. You know what I'm saying? For the healthy, balanced family structure and all that stuff. But we are supposed to be the ones putting in that hard work. You know what I'm saying? Putting in those hours. Putting in that work to build up a good nation. We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing that. This is why we're not relevant in the world. You know what I mean? This is why we're not that relevant, because people just, if I brought this up to the average person in the world, and they might agree, you know what I'm saying? They might agree to some extent, but they're not really gonna do anything. You know what I mean? Even me too, I gotta keep it real. I gotta hold myself accountable. I gotta be able to do something. You know what I mean? I'm still figuring out what type of role that I'm trying to play as an 18-year-old. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole male life journey. That's a video for another day. But we're supposed to figure out where we can help and help there. You know what I mean? That's the way we should be living. That should be, as a black man, I don't see how building your nation would not be building something successful, building something of worth. How would that not be your mission? Why is that not your mission? Why? I honestly don't get it, man. I really don't get it. Isn't that supposed, as a man, that's, don't you think that that's what you would want to do with your life? Build something respectful, build something that's that has worth. You know what I mean? How could you not want to do that? I don't even know, man. Let me see if I can even find that line in the book that I was telling y'all about, man. So here it says, bro, the average young criminal, according to E.P. Mulrooney, I don't know how to say that name, one-time police commissioner of New York, is filled with ego, and his first request after arrest is for those lurid newspapers that make him out a hero. And here comes another aspect, bro. People, you know what I'm saying, they be proud to go to jail. People will be proud they're that person who's been putting in work on the block, who's been killing people, who's been stereotypical hood people stuff. You know what I mean? Most people be proud of that. I just don't see how that's respectable. You know what I'm saying? Most people, they rep the block that they grew up on, and rep the block that they live on. You know what I'm saying? To the fullest extent, they'll die for it. All it takes for that to not be your block anymore is an eviction. You know what I mean? I understand we have brothers. I understand it's a lot deeper than that. You know what I mean? But it's you just have to want something bigger in life. You know what I mean? There's just way more that could be done. You could be going to all those European cities. You could be going to Africa. You could be going to places like Cape Town. You could be going to every single country and seeing everything. But instead, you wanna, forget. You know what? Hey, y'all have a blessed day, man.